Okay, let's first of all, wait a second. Once upon a time, in every community was a shaman or a medicine man. That is and was a title. And you cannot go to school to become a shaman or medicine man. It's your nature, and that nature needs to be developed. So you go to school to develop your nature, and the school is technically your father or your grandfather or whoever is in that position in the community or the group. These words today have no value. Or at least they've been used, misused, and in a way memed. You know what that means? Memed. Everybody's got a shaman. Everybody's a fucking shaman, man. You can go take a course for 2 years to be a shaman. The word yogi, once upon a time, it's not because you stretch and you do sun salutation that you receive. Yogi was a title, like doctor or engineer. So there was these words that you would say, this is a yogi. It's like saying this is a doctor, or this is an engineer, or this is a lawyer. But these words have been stolen, so we don't have these words. So then how are you going to say, how are you going to define the person who's a yogi if the word has been taken and is being used by a culture and an economy that is worth $10 billion? Like, that's it. That silly person who's stretching, standing on her head, is a yogi. So if she's a yogi, what the fuck am I? So I will certainly not call myself a yogi if she's a yogi. That would be an insult to myself. No. You be the yogi. I'm nothing. I'm good with that. Then the same applies for so many, like the word you're a healer. Every fucker is a healer. Right? Now, I don't want to disrespect nobody. Really, I don't. I gotta just call it like it is. So it's like, well, that's why people mock that. That's why your average person who's outside of the world of healing and all this shit thinks this is a load of shit. Yeah, it is a load of shit because it's a fucking phony. For the most part, it's nonsense. Yeah, but a healer, imagine, like on the one hand, you have a martial art expert, a killer, right? The other side of the spectrum of a martial art master is a healer. In fact, it's the same science. One who's mastered the yin, the other one who's mastered the yang. So just like in the martial arts fields, I've studied martial arts for years, and I've looked into it. So what do? I don't laugh at people. I don't care. But they laugh at the karate dude because this is bogus, and unless you do jiu-jitsu, it's all bullshit, right? So they laugh at those fake-ass martial artists, and there's a whole culture of mocking those fake martial arts and all this nonsense, and the only thing that's real is MMA. Okay, fine. You understand what I'm trying to say? So in that field, there's also a mockery of bullshitism. But when these cats or the people who are outside of that community look into it, what do they see? It's like hiffy-jiffy nonsense. It's just like peanut butter nonsense. It's just like it's ridicule. So how am I going to associate myself? How can I use a word like tag it to me when it's like I don't want to do that? And how do you in a martial art I can kick somebody's ass? So now I just showed that I'm the best. I'm Khabib. I kicked everybody's ass. Everybody praises me. I'm Georges St. Pierre. So it's very obvious. Yeah, but how, if the healing arts are subtle? It's not so subtle, like you touch and manipulate and move a person's energy and their structure. It's literal, like you fix a car. Yeah, but nobody sees that unless you're acquainted with the art form. Or unless you can feel it and live it and then you're on the table. Or unless you right? How am I, if I filmed it, you say, yeah, he's doing nothing. I'm like, I didn't do nothing, I just kicked his ass, but without moving. So how do you demonstrate that? You don't. So it appears as if you're doing nothing. It's known within a certain group of people or people who've acquired this. And everybody can call themselves like that because you can't verify it. How are you going to verify? If I say I'm a martial art master and some person who says, I want to test you, says, okay, he's going to kick my ass. It's clear. In the so-called healing arts, we don't have that. He's going to say whatever he wants. Prove it. Well, I could prove it, but nobody would notice. I could whoop your fucking ass. In the subtle realms, like a bitch that you are, I won't do that because I'm nonviolent, of course. But the point is, Nobody would know. So how do you prove that? That's the whole thing with this domain. That's why I said the healing arts is the domain of the yin energy, of the feminine. Not that it's feminine, it's just the domain of. It's subtle. That's what I mean. So if all these cats call themselves healers and this kind of healer and that kind of healer, and then you went to learn Reiki and you paid $1,500 to get your first degree, and now you're going to raise your hand and heal people from cancer. Should we do overtones? So I don't want to be part of that because it's ridiculing me. It's minimizing me. No. So it's not that there's not words to define that people from that craft, and it's not that there's not inner degrees, if you'd like, that you can achieve. But even these inner degrees, once upon a time that you achieved, these things were all organized back in the days, and still to a certain degree in India and other places. A person who achieves an inner degree is recognized by masters, and they give him a title. You don't get the word Shri, whatever the hell Shri you are, just because you decided to put it to your name. Now, everything's changed. These were titles given to a certain person who's achieved a certain level of mastership. In certain lineages, I'm not part of the Hindu lineage, so I don't do Shri. You understand what I'm trying to say? God bless Shri, I'm just saying. So all I'm trying to say is that this world has been totally hacked, and how are you going to prove anything? So unless you're Jesus, you make miracles that everybody acclimates. That would be the equivalent of kicking somebody's ass. Yeah, but, right? So these words have disappeared. So I'm going to tell you, I'm a medicine man. What the fuck do you know about being a medicine man or not medicine man? Right? Like, so it's on my website, but that's because it's what I am. But unless you know of these arts and you've experienced them, then you can measure the skill set. And if not, it's just a word. And you probably heard the person use that word, or you heard a movie, or you heard a person went to Peru with a shaman and did ayahuasca. I'm like, it's almost like insulting, like to be associated to that. It's like, it's ridiculed. So that's why as best as possible, I don't want to associate myself to any of these things. I don't want to associate myself to the stupid diplomas I have because I feel they minimize me. I gained them, good for me, and I use that intellectual knowledge to explain stuff, but it minimized me. I'm like, no, I'm not any of that shit. I'm so right. So that's part of the challenge. Well, that's the challenge I've had, let's say. And if I want to use one of them titles, I don't want to associate, because if I use that title, then you expect this and this and this, and people have expectations, and I don't want to live into your box of expectations because they're limited, they're constricted, and they make my life uncreative. Get the hell out of my face. So apparently I'm spiritual. Go figure. So I can't cuss. I'm like, can't cuss? Get the fuck out of here. Can't cuss. Of course I can cuss. No, that's not what you're supposed to do. I'm like, no, so I don't want to be part of that. So all these words come with a bunch of fucking restrictions. And I'm like, no. You keep the word and you live with the restrictions. And I'll just go and do what I do. I'm going to share. I'm going to teach to whoever wants to listen. I'm going to share my heart. And if you feel I can help you, come and knock on my door. And if I like you, I'll let you in, at least in the vestibule of my home. And if I like you more, you can sit in the first, on the couch over there, in the, I don't know how you call it, the salon. And we'll see where this goes. But that's how it's going to have to be. I'm not going to say my name is so-and-so and I'm this and this. And I'm no. Just, that's what I'm trying to say. Look at my cars. I have this, I have this, I have that. Yeah, it's an external marker. If I'm telling you I'm rich and I'm going to teach you how to be rich, you want to see that I'm rich, I agree. I ain't selling you about richness. Maybe I am rich, maybe I'm not. What do you know? What do you care? That's not what I'm presenting at the end of the day. So here I should come with diplomas. I already have them. Go read my bio. I mentioned a bunch of them, and they're worth nothing for me. And the other stuff, how would you know anyways? Because I present myself in a particular demeanor and I play a role. So I'm the guy that doesn't do that because it's not who I am. I just don't want to be a person who pretends to be something. Just leave me alone. I do me, you do you. God bless you. God bless me. Let's move on. But I think I'm pretty clear about these words. And I'm not going to say it's a shame because when I was much younger, I underwent a lot of frustrations because I didn't know how to define myself. I was still up and coming, That means that my skill, I hadn't mastered my craft at the level I had it today. So I was looking for words to define what I was doing. And I'm like, these words that I'm actually that. And all these people, so I was a little nervous, annoyed, so I called them all these idiots, are using the same word to define themselves. And they're doing fancy things because people are looking for fancy stuff. Right? So I was troubled because of that. So I'm like, I don't know what am I supposed to do? What am I then? But it's not that I don't have a place and I don't have a function in Dharma and a specific position that has always been and will always be there. No, there isn't. That's why when I study ancient mythology and when I study the Vedic stories, I'm like, oh, that's my character. Like that's what I do. Just 10,000 years ago, these are characters, right? They're archetypes that repeat themselves. Yeah, but now these characters their titles are stolen. And then you have guys or women who emulate those roles. So I don't want to fight, and nor do I want to pretend to be anything. I don't care. I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to go and argue about a title. I don't care. Like, I trust people, and I trust your intelligence, and I trust the viewer, and I trust the flow. So if you're on my vibration and you're my flow, we're on the same vibe, and what you're looking for is what I deliver, then we got a match. God bless you. If you and me ain't on the same flow, then thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed the show, and see you again next time. That's all I got to say. But that's super important because, like I said, in martial arts, they say you're a black belt and people laugh because they say the MMA broke the game. Come and fight and I'll kick your ass and we'll see what your black belt is worth. How do you do this in an art form which is invisible? It's not invisible. It's invisible to the untrained eye, and it's invisible to people who live at the surface. When you're trained, you see it. Like I can see when a person does it, I can see what they're doing. It's visible to me. I could draw it for you. So it's not invisible. It's invisible to your average untrained eye who is not receptive to energies or ain't feeling it. But once you get into that domain, you can perceive. It becomes very obvious. Just like when you get in a room and it's black, and in a couple of minutes you start to see. It's the same. So this is a challenge in the field of I don't know how to call it, esoterica, mysticism, healing, all these words that are misconstrued, yeah, and misunderstood and twisted up. And it's like I've gone through a heartache. I felt very sad for some time about this stuff, and then I had to get over it because that's the nature of our times. And anyways, at the end of the day, I hold my position. I'm in the middle. I ain't got nothing to do with this, nor this. I'm doing this. So you do whatever you like. If you enjoy, I don't know. I have nothing to say. It's not my problem. But that's why because you had asked the question, was it a challenge? Like, yeah, somehow it was a challenge because words are very important. Words are what grounds concepts. So if you don't have a word for something, then it's not that thing doesn't exist. It exists, but it's experienced subtly, and it doesn't become click conscious. Right? You can't discern it with sharpness. It's not that I'm not experiencing, it's just I can't consciously, okay, that's what it is. And that's what the word does. It does shh. So how do you define yourself? Like if I'm a person and the words that are used to go shh, to define me so that I can interact with people and say, well, this is who I am, and in a word, you're supposed to get it when that word has been taken, stolen, and then you put inside something else. And they do this with everything. Look at today, who's the doctor? Now, I don't want to disrespect the doctor, but that's not a doctor. This person can't heal anybody, doesn't understand anything about healing. Yet this person is called a doctor. First of all, doctor means teacher. The last thing that this person is a teacher. That's number one. Number two, in the traditional sense or the way that people understand the word doctor, that means he's supposed to fix you, heal you. That person, when you go see him, he doesn't fix you. First of all, he doesn't even understand your problem, doesn't understand where it comes from. He doesn't even understand how your body works. He doesn't even understand how your mind works. Then all he does is use machines to assess where you're quote unquote broken, then gives you drugs or cuts you up. How did that fix your problem? How did that heal you, which is what the doctor is supposed to do? So you see, that person's walking around being called a doctor, but he or she is the last thing on earth to be a doctor. So these examples are everywhere. This is an artist, apparently. You're an artist. You took poop, put it on your head, and now you're an artist? Now you're a woman. You had fake tits, and now you're a woman. So all the words are being stolen and redefined, which is making that, well, then if you're a doctor, then what am I? Well, I don't know. And then on top of that, you have a whole organization around you that grants you legally the right to use that word, and in the case somebody else would use that, they will destroy your existence. And to protect the public, of course, and also to protect their racket. So then what do? And it's the same goes in so many things. So this is a challenge that we have to go through. Like, so how do you define yourself when you can't use words? Words are owned. So I had to go through this because in the so-called healing arts, this is a pandemic of stupidity, and I had to go through this and accept and learn, and also discover myself through this, and let go. And I also discovered that, well, everyone will find what they're looking for. That I can trust. So my job is to take my position, hold my position, present myself as genuinely as I can today, and as it evolves, because tomorrow it will be more better and more better, right? And that's my job, and I present myself, and those who are resonant with this will find what I'm presenting and what my organization is providing as service. This I trust. I trust beyond the doubt, because that's the nature of things. But I don't have words, right? On my side. Well, I do. I take them. I took back all the words and redefined them and have fun with it. But I think you understand what I'm saying. I will not call myself a doctor. And of course, what I'm giving you is not medical advice, neither financial advice. But anyways, this is part of the struggle in this day and age. Everybody steals what doesn't belong to them, and in this ocean of false knowledge and fake information, where everybody can be anything in an instant, and there's no respect in the hierarchy of life and the hierarchy of nature and even the hierarchy of society, and everybody can just invent themselves whatever they want in a second. Well, this is a little bit what we find, a pandemic of confusion. So I've gone through this process. It was hard when I was younger because I was zealous and I had to fight for the truth. Now I don't care. I just do my things. But I totally understand, and c'est la vie. But I trust that those who are sincere, who are looking, will find. Even amidst this chaos of bullshit. Right? You find what you're looking for. But, I'm sorry, I'm going to stress on this. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to stress on this. There are words, and through these videos and my works here and the courses will offer, I'm going to take these words and I'm going to redefine them for your ass. Because maybe publicly we've got to be kind and respecting everyone, but it's like, no. This word is a sacred word and you don't use that. But I'm not going to tell them that, but at least you'll learn what that word really meant. And what's your relation to it, and if you're that or not. Honestly, this is to be a so-called medicine man or a shaman and whatnot. You cannot invent yourself. I'm one of this now. It's like, no, that's not how it works. And if you are one, you cannot run away from it. You can try, but there's nowhere to go, because you that's what you do. It's your nature to do it. So you're doing it unwell or well. So you cannot escape your nature. The only issue is that word now has lost its meaning for the most part. In a way, it's unfortunate because, well, if that's what you are, then how do you define yourself? And how do you define yourself in a society or in a culture that understands it and values it and respects it? Because a society that doesn't have such individuals is lost. And this is partly of what we're seeing, why there's so much confusion, because there's no more of these shamans and there's no more of these medicine men. There's no more of those who are the knowers. We have a lot of bullshit, but those who are genuinely commissioned by nature and dharma itself to fulfill that function, and then who have trained their whole lives to know how to master that art form and the science that comes with it so that they can fulfill their duty. So I cannot say it's not sad, it is, but I've learned to live with it. Now I feel I've said what I had to say in regards to this. Thank you.